Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Dufresne. Our first topic is in connection with social emotional learning. The article connects not only to social and emotional learning in the classroom, though more so to social and emotional responses in an educational environment, considering the myriad spaces of which one may grow, learn socially and emotionally. I find what any may be encountering in an educational atmosphere to be a part of a learning process respecting human spectrums. An educational environment is one environment of many environments. So, being able to acknowledge an individual may be experiencing, for whatever reason, differently than another in a way that recognizes the individual as a human being, as a forming whole person, may allow for the individual to progress more mindfully. Every individual in educational atmosphere may experience differently. Whether a student or an employee. Social and emotional responses may derive from many different types of areas of one's life personally. Having assistance may prove extremely valuable if assistance proves effective, which may mean differently depending on an entity. When considering how to address a classroom, an educational environment, where an individual may be responding in a way emotionally, socially, that may not necessarily be a hindrance to a lesson, though may be seemingly a hindrance. Being aware of how to respond in such a situation is helpful to the individual or individuals experiencing emotionally, socially. Early childhood is a great realm to understand how to navigate social and emotional parameters, especially considering every individual comes from a different experience. Hence, if one or so individuals feel by responsive manners as though familiar with social and emotional parameters because of experiences, especially in connection with early childhood, assisting with forming the individual or individuals well forward in regard to social and emotional parameters, then understanding growth of a whole person may continue is important, as well as understanding every individual is different, especially recognizing time differences, meaning maturity, how individuals respond may differ from one point to another point in time, depending on what one may be going through at a particular time. Being able to assist the whole person with understanding how to navigate responsibly, mindfully, personally with oneself in respect to the setting may prove greatly beneficial for not only the class, but for the individual. There are many different methods of responding to such situations, which may be worth trying, especially if an individual or individuals respond similarly more often than not. Even considering the different approaches practically may allow for an individual to be more well-rounding, progressing in life, to consider variety differently, so as to understand how life may progress beyond when a situation one may be going through may feel like one's entire world. How one may feel, how one may respond to how one is feeling may be of myriad parameters. Though being able to acknowledge the reality of that which I mentioned may allow for more compassion in a practical, mindful way that really may boost the whole person well toward good parameters of growth and learning. The next topic about not only funding, though implementation of what qualifies legally. The article is referring to a student, branching into students, fighting for adequate education, fighting for fulfillment of educational balances. When any rules, regulations, are through a confirmation processing, when implementation is not apparent within the environment, then one may wonder, how is the implementation to be? How might the implementation happen effectively? Education is in a very unique space because an educational environment, particularly in America, revolves not in a sphere of its own, though in connection with many different industrial parameters. One may consider how where one lives may affect how schooling may be around where one lives in a particular area in connection with where one lives. What a school may be able to offer may rely on not only a population count, though may rely on how extending entities may respond to what an educational environment may be able to offer. When assessing how a state may want to proceed on a statewide level, though may encounter differences county-wise, district-wise, in the state's structuring of academia, then one may find a challenge may arise. When a state is attempting to understand how to navigate a public school, a private school, a charter school, if one will, in connection with other entities of education that may have a different grounding of support, how might one assess adequacy? What happens across the nation is not of lackless efforts. Meaning, individuals are working aware of differing situations in education nationwide to ensure to improve toward adequate facilities, to ensure individuals may receive what is necessary to grow, to thrive well. Even more so, when a legal case arises, even with a win, when implementation is to be, may prove to be a situation that needs attention. So, bringing good attention to a situation of the sort of which one is not receiving adequate education in connection to what an education of a state is informing, sharing as to be a standard statewide, then individuals are able to regard what might be happening in one area of education in a way that allows an openness, a clarity of what else is connecting with an educational environment. What else might one be able to do to educate oneself beyond the situation, especially if one wants to become proactive in understanding how to affect implementation more so immediately. What I find important to recognize as well from the article is the student does find a way to qualify. When assessing an educational environment, especially when one is attempting to navigate through academia, being aware of how to succeed through different channels of academia proves extremely important. I think individuals may find a lot of routes through academia that may prove extremely valuable to succeeding through academia. And not only for oneself, though for one to share with another, if one may have a different type of situation, even where a student may not be facing inadequacy from an educational environment, though may be in need of tending to one's self-culturing in a way that really equates with how one needs to grow. One may be able to advance more efficiently because of a different parameter available through academia. So I think what the article brings to attention in another area of the conversation, another area of the spotlight, is that one may succeed even with an educational environment being a particular way. One may succeed through education, through academia, even with a particular educational environment being the way that educational environment is, which speaks well for how one may succeed through academia. Assessing costs may allow for a different understanding. Assessing resources may allow for a different understanding that may prove valuable for others that may come through the particular educational environment, of which may be inadequate for one or many. So being able to tend to the inadequacies, to ensure the inadequacies no longer are, so the educational environment proves to be adequate, may prove beneficial for individuals that might not be aware of the other areas of academia, through which thriving is possible. All right, we're going to do some origami. Now, today, if you have a square paper, you can just fold the square paper up, point to point. So just going from one corner to the other corner. Next, you can turn your triangle down. And we're just going to bring these corners of the triangle, we'll bring them to the point here. Okay. Now, we're going to bring these points up. So bring them up. And you'll see here, see, this one is down, this one is up, this one comes up next. Next, we're going to put a bend through one corner. I'm going to put a bend through one corner here. And we're going to put the bend through the other corner. Next, we're going to fold up here. So we're going to have a fold here, just a nice little fold, initially a nice little fold right here, a very nice fold. And we're going to do a double fold. We're just going to bring a fold. Now, if you want, you can fold below it and then fold up again, so you'll have a true double fold here. So see, there's a fold here below, then a fold up here. You can do it that way, which gives you a nice little double fold, or you can just simply fold it in one big old fold up here. It really just depends on you, how you feel about the design. So you can see the triangle has a little less space up here, but it fits in good. And if you just do the double fold again, I'll just bring that fold flap down, then you have a bigger triangle here. So it's completely up to you. Next, we're going to take this portion here. We're just going to fold it inside the bottom part. So we're going to fold it inside the hat portion. And this is one stage of the samurai hat. So you can have this hat here, and you can plop it on your head. Yay! Another portion is to flip the fold. So how can we do this is, well, basically, we can take one corner and fold it so that it'll kind of fold in like this. See how it's folding down? So we fold that flap down, then we can just come up here, we'll open our hat, and we'll just reverse fold it. And the reverse fold is a great way to, one, keep it tight, your front fold tight, and it's a great way to add a new design, especially if you have front and back colored origami paper. So if whatever paper you're using to fold has multiple colors on it, multiple designs, you'll be able to see more of these with this type of fold. And we'll just fold it again, just fold it over. folding, the initial folding, it does make a difference. Though it will be very easy for this to fold in just because of the inside fold leading to the top of the hat, meaning this folding here. And voila, here we go. Dun -dun. All right. Our next topic is in connection with spatial development. Spatial development is really important, and being able to recognize where one is physically in the spaces one lives in, one is in, is very, very, very important to one's well-being, one's awareness of one's being. And reading a physical book is one way to improve one's spatial development. Considering spatial development is very, very important to all parameters of one's health. So being able to acknowledge where one is extremely helpful to how one may progress through one's life. The physical book I finished reading. The book today is Feng Shui Modern. I really enjoy the book because the book really brings a different design sense to space. If one is especially particular with how one may add different qualities to a space one lives in, I feel as though Feng Shui Modern may allow for one to understand philosophies of Feng Shui and different ways to implement the philosophies of Feng Shui to a living environment, to realistically an environment where one invites people, where one invites energies from human beings, energies from life, and wants an environment to assist with channeling the energies and how an environment may channel the energy of life through setting is quite wonderful. Feng Shui Modern addresses how one may design. I really like the elements. Feng Shui Modern discusses fire, we have earth, we have wind, we have water, and even more so, how colors address the elements, not only by visual understanding, though by textual understanding. I really like how the designs of an environment may flow due to how one situates what one has. The other aspect to Feng Shui Modern is considering, of course, personal taste, how one wants an environment to be in connection with what the text is offering is really in connection with how one may want to feel, how one may not even know feels good, and really addressing the philosophy of Feng Shui in design senses may allow for one to navigate designing differently, especially if one is willing to redesign, to address how one type of design feels in comparison to another. Even if both are equally amazing, one may feel a design more so in one season, perhaps more so than another, though if to be the same design all year round, both will be equally amazing. For whatever reason one chooses to design, Feng Shui modern assists with understanding a space is full of energy and how one designs may contribute to how energy may flow and how one may view one's environment, especially if coming into a design that is not of one's own, though may assist one with feeling what the potential intentions of design may be. So Feng Shui Modern really brings to attention design in a way one may use in myriad ways. And I really, really appreciate the context of design from Feng Shui Modern. Even considering one may have one's taste, one may find new and different flavors that may be as satisfying, that one may know, that one may appreciate. Thanks for joining another episode of I Don't Know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Dufresne.